I tried Amazon FBA as a total beginner, and I want to tell you everything. I spent a few $100s and learned hard lessons fast. In this video, I'll break down my wins and my mistakes. I'll show what worked and what wasted time and money. If you want a real beginner's view, this is it. No fluff, just steps, screenshots, and real feelings. You'll hear how I found a product and how I launched it. You'll see the numbers that surprised me the most. Stick around till the end for the key takeaways I wish I knew. Let's start with how I chose my first product. I picked FBA because Amazon handles storage and shipping. I thought this would let me focus on selling, not packing. I liked the idea of fast prime delivery winning customer trust. Also, I wanted passive income that didn't need a storefront. My goal was to test one small product first. I set a low budget and a short timeline. This meant I had to be smart with choices. I was also curious if a beginner could actually make profit. Could I beat bigger sellers with better photos and a smarter launch? That question drove most of my decisions early on. Product research became the backbone of my whole plan. I used simple tools to check demand and competition. I looked for steady sales, not crazy trends. Low seasonality mattered to me more than viral spikes. I also checked average price and review counts. My rule was avoid products with tons of established brands. I preferred compact items to lower shipping and storage fees. I tracked keywords to see how buyers searched. This step saved me from choosing a product that looked good but sold poorly. Research felt boring, but it stopped big mistakes later. Next came suppliers, and this is where things got real. I messaged multiple factories and compared prices and MOQs. MOQ stood for minimum order quantity, and it surprised me. Some suppliers wanted huge orders I couldn't afford at first. I negotiated smaller batches and paid a slightly higher unit price. Samples became my best investment before any bulk buy. The sample quality showed me if the listing photos would match reality. I learned to ask about materials, lead time, and packaging. Supplier communication tests whether they will respond quickly later. That saved me from a nightmare supplier who missed deadlines. Shipping taught me more than any YouTube tutorial could. I chose between air for speed and sea for lower cost. Sea was cheaper but took weeks and required good planning. Air was fast but ate a big chunk of my budget. I had to learn Incoterms and who paid for what. Customs paperwork was confusing and I almost missed a document. Working with a freight forwarder reduced stress for me. They handled entry filings and local delivery to the Amazon warehouse. Still, I tracked every shipment because delays hit my launch date. Lesson learned. Plan shipping time like it's a fixed cliff. Setting up my Amazon seller account surprised me with details. There were identity checks, tax forms, and bank verifications. I picked the FBA option and created an inbound shipment. Labeling requirements and box contents lists were strict. One mistake and Amazon could reject my entire pallet. I followed their prep guidelines and double-checked with my forwarder. The first delivery arrived and I held my breath. Inventory hit the warehouse and my listing became active. That moment felt like flipping a switch from planning to selling. But the real work started after the listing went live. A great product needs a great listing to sell well. I focused on clear titles, bullet points, and benefits. I wrote the copy as if I was talking to a friend. Good photos were non-negotiable to show quality and scale. I ordered lifestyle shots and close-ups for trust signals. I also added an FAQ and clear warranty info to reduce returns. Keywords were placed naturally, not stuffed into awkward lines. I tracked clicks and conversion to see what was working. Small changes in bullets moved my conversion rate noticeably. Listing optimization became a weekly task, not a one-time job. Pricing felt like a science and a negotiation with the market. I started with a low intro price to get initial sales. This helped me get some traction and early reviews, but low price also squeezed my margin too hard. I experimented with a small price climb. After a few weeks, conversion dipped a bit, but revenue per sale increased. I used coupons and limited time deals instead of permanent discounts. This kept perceived value higher while attracting buyers. Monitoring fees and Amazon costs was crucial to staying profitable. Profit math became my nightly habit for honest bookkeeping. Launching felt like a sprint after months of prep. I used a small PPC budget to get visibility fast. I reached out to friends and family for initial honest reviews. I also used giveaway-style promotions carefully to avoid policy issues. The goal was ranked keywords and steady organic sales. I watched rankings move slowly after each tactic. Sometimes a tiny change pushed me up a few spots. Other times I waited weeks with no movement at all. This taught me patience and the need to tweak ads. Launch momentum mattered more than viral jumps for my niche. The first month gave mixed results and some surprises. I sold a few dozen units, but profit was thin. Returns were higher than I expected for a simple product. Why were customers returning this item more than similar ones? Was it a mismatch between the listing and the real product? I dug into reviews and found a pattern about packaging. So I changed packaging and added a small insert with usage tips. That reduced confusion and cut returns noticeably. Small fixes turned out to be huge for my metrics. I realized detail work after launch matters as much as research. Customer service became the hidden time sink for me. I answered messages fast and kept tone calm and helpful. Refunds and replacements were costly, but necessary for trust. I created a simple return flow to speed up resolution. Automating templates saved hours every week. Sometimes a small refund kept a review from turning sour. I tracked reasons for returns to fix product issues. That feedback loop improved the item and the listing. Happy customers meant fewer returns and better rankings. Good after-sales care felt like investing in future sales. PPC was my main paid strategy to get traffic. I started with auto campaigns to gather keyword data. Then I shifted into manual campaigns for precise control. Bid adjustments and negative keywords were daily experiments. I watched ACOS and adjusted bids to chase profit. Some keywords converted great, while others drained budget. Finding profitable long-tail keywords made a big difference. I also tried sponsored display for retargeting at low cost. Ad optimization never stops because competition changes fast. PPC taught me to think like both marketer and accountant. Reviews turned out to be the social proof engine for sales. I politely followed up with buyers to ask for feedback. Policy-friendly ways to request honest reviews. Bad reviews can hurt, but good reviews drive higher conversion. I used the customer feedback to improve product instructions. Some glowing reviews became my best marketing lines. I compiled top review quotes into the listing bullets. This lifted buyer trust and improved conversion further. Organic reviews came slowly at first and then accelerated. Building proof felt like building a small but powerful brand. My profit numbers surprised me with hidden costs. Storage fees crept in when stock sat too long. Disposal fees for returns added up unexpectedly. Amazon fees and referral cuts are bigger than you think. I also paid for photography, inserts, and small upgrades. Each add-on sliced my margin further than forecast. I started tracking all costs in a simple spreadsheet. That clarity showed where I had to cut waste. Margin focus forced smarter sourcing and packaging choices. Watching cash flow kept the business alive during slow weeks. Once sales stabilized, I planned a larger reorder. Scaling meant balancing cash flow and supplier lead times. I ordered more but kept safety stock for unexpected demand. Bulk orders lowered unit cost and improved margin, but bigger orders also increased risk if a product failed. I diversified slightly with a secondary SKU to spread risk. This gave me options and reduced single product dependency. I also improved packaging to survive returns at scale. Forecasting became part data and part educated guesswork. Scaling felt thrilling but required steady nerves and math. I made clear mistakes that cost time and money. My first mistake was underestimating shipping timelines. Another was choosing a supplier without a backup. I also initially ignored small customer complaints. That let issues grow into bigger returns and bad reviews. I didn't fully account for all Amazon fees up front. I learned the hard way that optimistic projections are dangerous. Fixing these took customer focus and better planning. Each mistake became a checklist item for the next product. Mistakes were painful, but they improved my process fast. The thing that surprised me most was how small changes move sales. Changing one photo increased conversion by noticeable %. Switching a bullet point fixed a recurring question in reviews. Why did such tiny tweaks matter so much in a giant marketplace? I realized buyers often decide in seconds on listing trust. Perception trumped features for many shoppers. This made marketing feel more important than product specs sometimes. It also showed how testing matters more than guessing. Small repeated improvements compounded into real profit changes. That surprised me and made optimization a daily habit. You might ask, is FBA worth it for a beginner? My answer is, it can be, but not without patience. FBA removes logistics but adds platform costs and rules. If you enjoy testing and problem solving, you'll fit well. If you need instant profit, it may not be the right path. Start small, learn fast, and treat the first product as a course fee. Keep cash reserves for delays or unexpected fees. Use the first run to build a repeatable process, not a unicorn launch. Ask yourself if you can handle feedback and quick adjustments. If yes, FBA can teach you business skills and scale over time. FBA is not fully passive, especially at the start. I spent nights answering messages and tweaking ads. Product improvements and customer care took real hours. Once systems and partners are in place, time reduces. Automation and templates saved me daily repetitive work. But scaling or launching new SKUs adds new time needs. Plan part-time as a learning phase and scale later. Time invested early buys freedom later if you play smart. Don't expect instant passive income in month 1. Expect a learning curve and a steady workload at first. Patience became my secret advantage in this project. I treated setbacks as feedback, not failure. Small wins gave confidence to keep iterating. I reminded myself that compounding work beats quick hacks. Keeping calm in front of bad reviews paid off later. Each correction improved customer experience and rankings. A builder's mindset helped me invest in long-term wins. This work rewards persistence more than flashy tactics. Celebrate small improvements and learn from every data point. Mindset changes made executing the playbook much easier. I leaned on a few affordable tools to save time. Keyword research software gave me search volume clues. A simple profit calculator kept margin math honest. Photo editors and a freelance shooter improved listing visuals. I used a basic spreadsheet to track inventory and cash flow. A freight forwarder and prep center handled logistics cleanly. Customer templates and email automations reduced repetitive tasks. Each tool cost money, but often paid for itself quickly. Use what solves your biggest bottleneck, not every shiny app. Focus on tools that make decisions faster and less risky. After the first success, I wanted to launch again with less risk. I reused what worked and avoided previous supplier mistakes. I picked a product in a related niche to reuse branding. This made cross-promotion and bundling natural. I ran small test orders and measured conversion before scaling. Pre-launching a waitlist gave me early demand signals. I also looked for ways to improve the user experience from day one. That meant better packaging, clearer instructions, and a stronger warranty. Validation trimmed risk and made the reorder decision easier. Repeatable validation became my playbook for future launches. I knew I had to handle taxes and simple legal basics early. Sales tax rules differ by region, and I set up compliance. I registered a business entity to separate personal finances. This simplified banking and made bookkeeping cleaner. I consulted a professional for the tax questions I didn't understand. Ignoring tax rules could have caused bigger trouble later. Trademark basics protected my brand from copycats in the niche. Simple contracts with suppliers reduced misunderstandings. Legal basics cost money but saved stress and potential liability. Handle this early so growth doesn't carry legal surprises. Here's a quick snapshot of my first 9 months' numbers. Revenue was modest, but steadily grew month over month. Margins were tight at first and improved after optimization. Returns and fees reduced gross profits more than expected. After changes, I reached a stable, profitable zone for that SKU. Reorders became possible once cash flow stabilized. I reinvested profits into inventory and better marketing. This reinvestment accelerated growth for the second product. Numbers are not huge, but they validated the business model. A realistic beginner can expect learning costs early and profit later. My biggest takeaway is, treat your first FBA product like school. Pay the learning fee and focus on building repeatable systems. Research, supplier checks, and solid listings beat shortcuts. Small optimizations add up more than sporadic big moves. Keep cash reserves and plan shipping timelines carefully. Customer service and product quality protect your brand over time. Be ready to iterate fast and learn from data, not emotion. If you want scalability, FBA can deliver, but it requires work. The first run taught me business lessons I still use today. So start small, be patient, and keep improving every day. Thanks for watching my beginner FBA journey and honest breakdown. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe for more case studies. Want the tools and templates I used for this launch? Check the description for a free starter pack I linked there. If you want deeper training, watch my playlist on FBA step by step. I added a video that walks through product research in 10 minutes. Click the next video on screen to jump into that playlist now. I'll keep making real experiments and sharing the results with you. Leave a comment about what FBA topic I should test next. See you in the next video and good luck on your launch.